Good morning. This is James Gennard of Stourbridge U3A. Today, I'm going to show you how to update your Windows PC or laptop or tablet to the latest versions of Windows with security updates still available for at least another year. If you have a modern device, it will be capable of updating to Windows 11. If not, then the best you can do is to get to Windows 10 ESU, which is Extended Service Support upgrade for older, less capable devices. Now, this chart shows you the pathway to get to an updated Windows system. First of all, you need to know which version of Windows you're using. So you need to go from the Windows icon in your bottom left corner on your home page to Settings, which is the gear wheel, then choose System, which is the top choice, and then finally in System, go to the About screen, which will tell you about your Windows software. If it's Windows XP 95, 98, 7 or 8, then you may have a very old computer. If it's older than 12 years, then you need to use it offline only, i.e. not connected to the internet, because earlier versions of Windows are not secure. Or you need to install some alternative software called Linux, which is a alternative operating system, just as capable as Windows, but free of charge. The two versions I'd recommend: Linux Mint for more capable PCs and laptops, and Linux Lite for slower, less able computers. Alternatively, scrap your current device and buy a Windows 11 PC or laptop or tablet to replace the one you've got. If you've got a computer that's younger than that, i.e., less than 12 years, the margin of hardware is, does it have USB 3 ports? These are the USB ports with a blue tag inside them. If it has, then it's capable of updating to Windows 10 version 22H2. If it doesn't have a blue tag, or you don't know if it has USB 3 ports, you'll have to look up the specification on the internet of your actual device. If it doesn't have USB 3 ports, then it's the same as a 12-year-old computer. It's too slow to support Windows 10, and therefore you have to use these potential responses. If you have got a Windows 10 computer, is it updated to version 22H2? No, go to Windows Update to do this. Now, Windows Update is also called Update and Security on the first page, and then Windows Update on the last page. Once you've done that, you then need to check, does it have enough RAM to support Windows 11? It needs to have 4 gigabytes of RAM. If it doesn't, you can fit more RAM. This is relatively cheap. I bought 16 gigabytes the other week for £16. If you don't want to do that, then you need to settle for Windows 10 ESU. If you do have 4 gigabytes of RAM available, does your PC or laptop or device have 64 gigabytes of free hard disk space? If it doesn't, the alternatives are fit a bigger drive, which these days is called an SSD, a solid state drive, rather than a HDD, a hard disk. Or if you have less than 64 gigabytes of hard disk space, then you need to settle for Windows 10 Extended Service Upgrade. Finally, the hurdle is, do you have a Microsoft account, which is typically a Hotmail or an Outlook email account? If you don't have one, you need to set one up on the computer that you have or the laptop that you have by opening up a Microsoft account. Again, it will be a Hotmail or Outlook account generally. Finally, if you've passed all the yeses, you can update your computer and install to Windows 11 if you meet all the requirements. If not, then Windows Update will offer you Windows 10 Extended Service Upgrade. And I'll show the flowchart for that on the next slide. So here we have a Windows 10 PC, laptop or tablet that needs the ESU update. First of all, is it updated to version 22H2 already? No, go and do it. Do you have a Microsoft Hotmail or Outlook account? No, go and do it. Set one up. Finally, go to Windows Update to set up Windows 10 ESU. Is the Windows Update offering you 10 ESU? If it isn't, you need to repeat the checks that we made earlier. If it is on offer, if you want to pay, then simply you can pay $30, which is about £27 for that option, but you may have it offered to you for free. First of all, if you've got 1,000 Microsoft reward points, then you can choose that option to process the changes straight away. Alternatively, you can sign up to Microsoft Backup to OneDrive to obtain access. This is what happened with me. I had backup switched on already, so it gave me access to Windows ESU straight away. Finally, if you don't have enough points and you haven't signed up to the backup, then you can obtain the points by adding more Microsoft products to your account, your Windows installation, like downloading the Bing apps, which is worth 500 points. So now, having confused you with all that detail, I'm going to go through the steps one by one. This is a typical Windows 10 homepage. If you click on the Windows icon here in the bottom left, and then go up to settings here and click on that, you'll then get this screen. This is the settings page for me and my account. I have got OneDrive available. I have got rewards available, and Windows Update was checked yesterday. If you click on System here, we then find that you get display as the first option, and the last option is About. This will tell you about your PC. So if you click on this, you'll get this screen. Now, this is the top of the page of information available in About, which tells me the details of my hardware. So I've got 4 GB of RAM, so that's one question answered. I've got a dual core processor, which is the minimum you'll have to run Windows 11. I don't have a graphics card, but I do have lots of storage available. 233 minus 37 is about 196 or so. Well, that's more than adequate for Windows 11. On the same page, but lower, the same details, but given in more graphic detail. It also tells me I'm operating a 64-bit processor on a 64-bit operating system. That's another requirement for Windows 11, because Windows 11 needs a 64-bit processor. It won't work on an older processor, which is only 32 bits. And finally, at the bottom of the page, we get the details of the current Windows specification on this computer. This computer is Windows 10 Home, and it has got version 22H2 installed. So I should be able to get the Windows ESU upgrade available to me. If I'm unsure of the details, I can go back to the start here, and for my Microsoft account, if I click on my name, James Gennard, because that's the identified user of this version of Windows, you get the details of what your Microsoft account is. You'll need that if we're going to log into the rewards page and see how many points you've got later. So now I'm going back to settings to go to find how to update Windows. So you can click on Windows Update here, or on the bottom of the settings page is Update and Security. So if you click on that, you get this page. And what I've clicked on here is Windows Update, which is the first topic within the settings page. So Windows Update, it's actually installing an update to Windows 10 version 22H2, and it's only part way through. So you need to let it finish and complete that upgrade before you do anything else, because you can't progress any further anyhow. So once it's finished, you get something like this. We've updated the latest update. It says get ready for Windows 11. If you click on this, it will tell you what the hardware requirements are for Windows 11. Well, I know that this computer isn't capable because it doesn't have the hardware to match. A 2-core processor is only just marginally good enough to run Windows 11. But let's go on. So now, a day later, what we have is Windows 10 support ends in October 2025. Enroll in extended security updates to keep your device secure. Now, if I want to know about this in detail, I click on this. If I want to enroll in Windows 10 ESU, which I will do, then I'll click on that. So let's learn about end of support. You get this page full of information about starting from Windows 10, Windows 8.1 and Windows 7. Earlier computers than this, Windows XP, are probably never going to be capable because they're basically 32-bit processors and 32-bit software. Anyhow, this is a lot of reading, so I'll leave you to do that. If we actually click on the enroll button, we get this. Your PC is enrolled to get extended security updates. But it tells me my PC doesn't currently meet the minimum system requirements to run Windows 11. So I'm stuck on Windows 10. So I do want the extended service updates. This window then pops up, and enrolling in extended service updates to stay protected, it tells me more details. So if I click on next, I get this page, and it says I'm eligible to enroll in extended security updates at no extra cost. So because I've already used Windows Backup, then I've been granted this free of charge. So now I need to click on enroll here, and then the process starts. This takes a few minutes. On my computer, it's quite slow. It's nearly 5 minutes or so. But once it's completed its changes, you'll get this, that you're enrolled in extended security updates. So my computer will receive updates till October 13th, 2026. Before I go, though, there's some suggested action here. So I'll show you another page where it tells me that my PC is not fully backed up. I need to back up more things, which are files and folders, which I haven't done. There is a reason for that. If you are using the OneDrive Microsoft Cloud, then basically you're limited to 5 gigabytes for free. If you use more than 5 gigabytes of storage, then you have to start paying. So I haven't done the backup of files and folders because I've got a massive amount of photographs and pictures that will exceed that limit. I back my computer up to a separate hard disk, which you may have or may not have. I would recommend that you have a backup regardless of the cost. So once we click on done, if we look back at the update history, it's not obvious that we've got ESU. So we have got versions of updates here successfully installed on this date, but nothing says this is Windows 10 ESU. When you come back to Windows Update, you may still get further updates. This is for the antivirus program, but I would recommend you check this setting that it's turned on. There's no point in having Windows 10 ESU if you're not allowing the computer to update for security reasons. So you must have this particular option turned on, which is in Windows Update again. If you wanted to use the reward points, you will have to come to this page, Microsoft Rewards. It's rewards.bing.com/welcome there. Once you log in with your account, you get details. So I'm logged in as me here, and I've got 356 points available. You can add to the points by adding on more software, more facilities like subscribing to Telegraph, which will obviously cost you money, or actually employing some of the games and things. So you get points for doing things with Microsoft. The easiest one is obviously turn on backup. You can do things like this as well. You can download the Bing app and start earning bonus points. If you get enough points, obviously you get to do the Windows 10 ESU for free. Going back to our original chart, if you've got these old computers, then essentially the best you can do is Windows 10 ESU via Windows 22H2. Either that or use them offline only. install Linux, or scrap it and buy a Windows 11 PC. Notice that in the Windows 10 column, you can do physical updates, so adding more RAM, adding a harder drive, a bigger drive for using Windows 11. Windows 11, by the way, where we were offered Windows 10 ESU, it was because we didn't have Windows 11 capability. If you have got Windows 11 capability, it will offer you the upgrade. Be warned, it's something like an hour's update. So you need to be connected to the internet in that time, and you have to sit there and wait for it to complete the update. Essentially, all your folders are still there, but the Windows 10 version goes from 10 to 11, and there are some changes on the display. Right, this is the detail chart again for going through from Windows 10 current to Windows 10 ESU, and ultimately if you get to do one of these things, you'll get it for free. Otherwise, you'll end up paying. But remember, it only lasts till October 2026 and no more. You should be saving for a new PC or laptop or tablet now, ready for that time. Finally, if you want to know more details about your device, you can load this program, Ada64, from the Windows Store and run it to determine all the hardware details and the software details on your computer, including the security status and also any Microsoft or Windows accounts. If it doesn't install, then and the states not a valid Win32 application, then you have a 32-bit processor and or Windows installation. If you have difficulties like that, you need to email me at newsletter24.stourbridgeu3a@gmail.com. I hope you found that useful. Bye for now.